The Jack Black Peaches music video is trending on YouTube and it's just blown up, but I was so surprised to learn that it was only filmed in 2 hours, which is super fast. So I decided to bring in another pro here to talk about it with me. On our channel, we talk about all things filmmaking. So if you love filmmaking and cinematography, you're gonna love this video. And watching this music video and the behind the scenes to it, I actually learned a lot of new stuff, and I'm sure you will too. JJ Bukowski is a director of photography. He's worked on movies and TV commercials and music videos.
Yeah, I'm a director of photography. Thanks, Thomas, for having me.
Let's jump in and watch this.
Little CG there. I love this step through the window. Cracks me up. I mean, props to the art department. Like, look at that color. You know, it matches the video game so well.
Yeah, he really pops in this background. What I'm liking here is this simple world that has a fantastical feel outside the windows. He has center stage, you know, it's all Jack Black with this concept.
I love that shot.
With my star, we're gonna rule.
VFX Peach. I love that his suit is like slightly too small. It just adds to the comedy.
You know what I noticed? There's a lot of multiple shadows going on, which totally works because there's tons of these windows.
Yeah. This comes from the video game too, but the pink and green, obviously opposite on the color wheel, so a very nice contrast. It also gives, like, Jack Black's skin tone kind of blends into the wall, but his suit and his hair give him separation, which is really nice.
What I like here is his position on the piano here for the main kind of shot. It's really high key, but let me go to this part here. When he's sitting on the piano, the majority of the light is coming from the far side of the camera. And so the shadow side of his face is closer to camera, and we can see kind of a little bit of a harder light source because of those shadows underneath the picture frame in the peaches.
Yeah, you notice throughout this whole thing, they're keying frame right. But you're right, it's very high key, very soft, just kind of, you can tell they lit everything, not knowing what Jack Black would do when he got there. Because you know they got there hours before to pre-light and set up, and they had very limited time with Jack Black. So they lit everywhere to be prepared.
I think you're totally right that they realized, okay, Jack Black is a force of nature. He's going to do whatever he wants. Let's light this whole space. We'll get a little bit of special light for the piano, but for the rest of it, he's just running around and it's just soft. Okay, let's watch this again. I think there's more to see here. What I like about this first shot is they're exploring the world and they're revealing the world first.
Yeah.
With him coming through that window.
Exactly. It's like we're discovering it with Jack Black. It's like, hey, look at this world we found. We snuck into Peach's castle and she has a piano here. And I love, you know, the window, of course. It's like he discovered a set of stairs and just snuck into her castle. It's great. And you know that's just a stack of Apple boxes outside the set. And then, yeah, as far as camera move, you can tell, I mean, performance piece usually do a couple passes or, you know, as many as you can in each setup. So they probably did a pass of piano, like, here, sit here, Jack Black. We're going to do a pass on the jib where you just sit here and we're going to find shots and make it cool. Rewind to the shot through the window. So if you notice, this is probably the window that hard light is coming through, but now there's no hard light.
Nah.
Because if you take a light, just blast it from the same angle as the camera, you and I both know it just looks like garbage. So you actually see the shadows on the piano are reversed. They're now pointing toward us as opposed to going the opposite way.
JJ, I did not notice that. You caught that. Look at that. So what do you think they did? They just turned off that one or dimmed it way down and then moved another one in?
Well, to be honest, if it were me and I knew I had Jack Black coming, I'd put lights everywhere and light every mark. And then I'd dial in like, okay, when I go here, and I'd communicate to my gaffer, okay, when I go here, you're gonna turn off this light, this light, this light, turn on that light and that light.
Luckily, they have a really cool behind the scenes video, so let's watch that.
I'd originally wrote a concept for this that took place in the backyard, and it was Jack performing to a peach. We ended up having to pivot from that for reasons out of my control, and we're doing something more performance-based now.
I like this better than a backyard. I mean, it's still in the, what I like about this concept is it's still in the Mario world. And I don't know if he was gonna do some VFX with a backyard, but Jack Black is physically entering the Mario world, and they were able to make a small set that looks almost computer animated and like perfect. And then out the windows, they can extend it and give you little glimpses of the Mario world outside of it, which I think is a smart concept. So looking at this set, it actually occurred to me, okay, if you're really trying to save money, right? You could build this set, but then instead of doing a big blue screen, you know, 10 feet behind it, you could just put blue fabric right up against the windows. I'm gonna ask you, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask you, why didn't they do that?
Well, to be honest, actually, renting it looks like several 20x40s back there to form our blue screen. Renting those would be cheaper than actually purchasing the expendables to cut and shape to the window. That's reason number one. Reason number two is it just gives you a chance to light. Like you can't, if he's gonna be sitting at the piano and you're pushing all your light inside this space, you're going to be casting shadows on that blue screen, and it's going to make it a pain. Reason number three, you can't push the daylight. Like, see the nice little daylight look on the windowsills? It just gives it a nice shape, and it kind of tricks you into thinking there's sun outside, you know?
Someone might say, why are they spending money to build this set? Why don't they just blue screen the whole thing? What would you say to that?
Oh, well, my opinion on that is you always want, like, that's what sells great VFX. Having a practical thing close to your subject that is continued by VFX is always going to look better. That's why they do set extensions, because now Jack Black is mostly contained in a real physical space, and it's just little pockets of blue that you're replacing.
And then they paint the floor, which is part of the set. So that's nice that the floor is flat, because then they can just paint the concrete in the studio.
And you'll notice, like, see how they're working on it right now? They've laid ram board down to protect it so that it's virgin paint when Jack Black steps on it. So it's only his shoe marks that show up.
That's very smart. So stopping here, this is probably one of the best shots we have of the camera. JJ, if you could guess, just tell me what you're looking at here.
That's probably a mini LF, judging by the cage and the antenna placement.
And then it looks like they have an Airy focus system there for remote focusing.
Yeah, the Airy system's kind of cool because it has the built-in MDR as opposed to a Preston. So if you use an Airy follow focus with an Airy unit, all you have to plug in is the motor.
So let's talk about really quick what we see here. This is one of the widest shots we get to see in this behind the scenes. I'll tell you what I kind of recognize. I see these Airy sky panels with chimeras, and one of them randomly has an egg crate on it. The other ones don't.
So I could tell you where they how that probably came about. So usually you want to keep the light for your subjects off your walls. So that one in the middle is going to be your brightest because that's what's edging Jack Black. And then it's also lighting the floor so it doesn't just fall off. And then that one on the left, because our key is coming from camera right, that left wall probably started to get too hot. So I bet you they added that grid to control it off that wall, but keep intensity for Jack Black out in the middle. And then the one on the right, maybe it's just for when they're in closer.
Here's the director of photography, and behind him is this big, I think it looks like a 12 by with an egg crate on it. What do you think this is for?
That's definitely the key. That's our, to round out our push through the window, make it feel like our world continues. But yeah, it looks like there's quite a few stands back there. So there's probably a few things pushing through that diffusion. If I had to guess, maybe it's quarter grid, magic cloth, something not too thick.
And this is just me. I would actually bring the key on the same side as this, because if he would have put it on the other side, it would have just looked flat, because that's the same side as the line of action from the camera for most shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you notice how they like stage the piano, it's like opened up to the key. So they're pushing all the light, so it's getting predominantly Jack's face when he's at the piano. And it also, so that also motivated their decision to push light through that bigger window, So you can see there's also just more windows on the right. So it all kind of, it's naturally kind of pushing you that direction.
So to make a decision like that, do you think the art director and the director of photography had a conversation about the windows before the set was even built? Possibly?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I definitely think they had a conversation. There were sketches drawn.
Oh, check this out. When Jack Black walks in, this guy's in the way. This guy pushes him out of the way, like, violently. This guy's like, hey man, what's up? Get out of my face. So what do you think? Is that jib operator just really good at their job, or is every single move planned out, or is this more of a performance thing?
Oh no, that jib operator is very good at his job. Yeah, you can tell he's on it. He's focused on Jack Black. He's reacting to his reactions.
This jib is definitely the reason why they were able to shoot this music video so quickly. And the talent of the jib operator and the wireless focus and zoom control on the camera, that really is how they shot this so quickly.
Well, you can also see that Franklin has a headset on, so he's in active communication with the jib operator and the focus puller.
If you're watching this and you haven't been on a music video set, the first thing you learn is that they have speakers and they're pumping the original sound into the room so that the performer can just lip sync to it. Is that how you've done it, JJ?
Oh yeah, and in addition to that, sound department will also put a locket box on the camera, which is time code locked to the song rather than to time of day. So then when you go into your editing software, all the takes like show up in the correct placement in the song. And then you can just enable or disable layers to get an idea for what you've got.
Now we see this light down here on the ground pointing up towards the blue screen.
That's there to give value to the blue screen, so it's an easier key. They're probably, honestly, just based on the intensity of the blue screen all the way around, they probably have those lights underneath each window to give some life to the blue.
I gotta say, I've lit blue screens and green screens before, and I normally try to get them a little bit more even than this, but it kind of seems to me like that was not a priority here.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a good post team and you have time and budget for post, they probably wound up rotoing some of that. It really helps for hair. Like blue screen really helps for hair, but sometimes you can get a cleaner line if you just roto. And auto rotoing has gotten pretty good, I hear. So.
Oh, look at this. They snuck this in because it wasn't there before.
Well, to be honest, I see quite a few more stands in this shot, and it looks like Jack Black has come so far down stage that for this moment they had a little additional fill over on the left. And then also on the right, it looks like another, you can see they T-boned a rag, and they're putting something through that to continue what that tenor booklight is doing. So they extended their lighting to extend the set, basically.
So it looks to me like this is the last thing they shot, him coming through the window. Why do you think they would choose to do that?
I mean, honestly, maybe they started wider, you know? They probably started all the way back on that static camera, just to see what Jack Black would do. And I bet that idea kind of developed as they were going, just if I had to guess. You can also see they turned off the light on the green screen. Like, see how dark, or the blue screen, see how dark it is outside on that key? Because it would have uplit Jack Black too much.
Thanks, JJ. This was awesome. Your knowledge is blowing my mind, and I'm very grateful for you being on this video here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun.
If you enjoyed this video and you want to subscribe to Epic Light Media, please don't. We do not want any more subscribers.